My 2003 laptop that I used before my family got a real desktop, the battery didn't even work. So if it wasn't plugged in, it just didn't work straight up. Oh! Yeah!
I'd love to know what's going on, but my screen is completely black and all I have is a cursor.
I just market gardened someone and he got shit on. Hey, Dr. Come On and Slam, just wanted to let you know that you got shit on, buddy. You got shit on.
Help! What's on your head, Ryder?
Hey, what is going on, everyone? Nathan here, bringing you a video to perhaps introduce to you something that you will find a lot of joy and entertainment in, and these are emulators. Now, if you have heard of emulators before and know what they're all about, then feel free to click off, but for those of you who have not heard of emulators, what they are basically ways for you to play old games on your computer. Basically, they take very little to run, so if you cannot run like a game like even Team Fortress 2 at 1080p, then maybe you can play an old game that isn't so demanding on your graphics card. Even if you don't even have a graphics card, you can still probably run these games at 30 frames per second, which is all that you need for these emulators, being they were never meant to be played at more than 30 frames per second. But I will basically kind of show you what they're all about and what you can do with these emulators and how to get them. So first of all, let's open up an example. So this is called Visual Boy Advance, and it's a Game Boy Advance emulator. Basically, what I play on this is Pokemon Emerald. So if we go ahead and open, I'll go into my GBA file, and this is the Pokemon Emerald ROM file. Now, what a ROM is, let me turn off the sound here. I think I already have sound disabled in this, but basically what ROMs are the actual game. So if you think of like the emulator as your GameCube, for example, the ROM is the game that you put in the GameCube. So we'll just kind of whatever go through this, and we're going to load a file. So like it's a little bit different. Obviously, you don't actually choose a save file from the Game Boy or from the emulator. You actually have to go in and load a file, and these are my save games. So I believe I saved my most recent on SG1. So if I go to my Pokemon right now, I'm literally playing Pokemon Emerald. These are my Pokemon. I am in. If you want to know, I named my character Asshat because I thought it was funny, but I kind of regret it now. And I have 6 badges. And my Pokemon are level 90, my Blaziken is level 91, so, yeah, let's just say that my macro keyboard, did me some good while I was in daycare. So, that is Visual Boy Advance. Basically, it's a Game Boy Advance emulator, and emulators exist for almost every old system, so if I just want to exit out of this, we'll just go ahead and do that. What I can do is go to coolrom.com. Coolrom.com is literally the place where you'll find every emulator and pretty much all of the like working ROMs that you'll need. Obviously, they have a Twitter here if you want to check that out or whatever. But so if we go to the emulators on top, this is their homepage, right? I'm just on their homepage. Go to emulators, you can see Arcade, Atari, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Nintendo 64, GameCube, Macintosh. That must be something really new. PSP, Super Nintendo, Xbox. Let's see, I think I thought that they had the Wii, but maybe I was wrong on that. So if we wanted to download a Visual Boy Advance, all you'd have to do is click on Game Boy Advance, because that's what the system it is for, and it'll give you a list of all of the emulators available for download. Visual Boy Advance is the best Game Boy Advance emulator just right now, if you want to just know. And basically, you'll hit this download now button, and it'll take you to this window, and I think there will be an ad up here. Basically, that's how they support their website, and then you'll download the emulator. Once you have that done, you can simply, let's see how, okay, so I guess it's done right away. We'll just show in folder and install it, even though I already have it installed. So basically, you're going to need like a file unzipping program or 7-zip WinRAR, that's basic stuff. I'm just going to assume that you guys already have that. We're going to extract this file, and you're going to get the application, and that is simply it for Visual Boy Advance. And then you just need to keep this file in whatever, and the README is just for help and such. But I'm going to go ahead and delete these. So for something like GameCube, I have that. If let's see, I think I deleted that. All right, so we'll launch with the GameCube emulator. I use Dolphin, which is a bit different, not as good as Visual Boy Advance, but GameCube is a little bit more complicated, a little bit more different. And I have recently played Wind Waker, and let's. I think there'll be some sound here. We'll just kind of skip past this if I can. Blah 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 blah. Wind Waker. Alright, so that is Wind Waker. Literally, I'm playing Wind Waker, so we'll go ahead and start just to show you what it's like on this, and I'm very, very new to this game. So with this game, like, the controls, rather, are a bit different, being this is supposed to be for, like, a controller, but you can play with a keyboard. However, I am actually going to get an Xbox receiver, or a wireless receiver, which basically means that I'll be able to plug in this receiver to my computer and then use my Xbox controller, basically as a GameCube controller, and I would use a PC to Game Boy or GameCube controller like converter, except that the Xbox is a lot nicer because you can use it for multiple games, not just GameCube. So that is Wind Waker. You can just exit out of that with no harm. Make sure to save often in Dolphin, by the way. Sometimes it randomly crashes if you try to speed up the emulator. But how to get, for example, something like Dolphin, we will go ahead and download it again. Let's see, Nintendo GameCube. And you can see right here, they don't have 5 stars, but Dolphin is basically the one that people use. 4 stars, so whatever, download now. And you'll get that. And basically, once you download that, you simply click on, I believe, the zip file or whatever is in it. You click on it and you'll get these files. These files will just create themselves. Just don't do anything with them. And then I created a folder named ROMs to keep my ROMs in for this particular emulator. And here you can see you have Wind Waker, and I think I'm gonna rename this. So actually no, I'm not, just because I don't want to F anything up. So basically, it's very easy to install. Wind Waker is actually a gigabyte of 1.35 gigabytes of information, so that will leave you downloading for at least a half an hour. For me, it took like 20 minutes, being I do have a decent download, just a crappy upload. But yeah, these games are great to run on old PCs that can't handle a lot. If you have trouble playing something like Team Fortress 2, I still think that these games will work for you, being like literally Visual Boy Advance, like Game Boy Advance games are literally so pixelated that it is like hilarious, but at the same time it is like great because you have all of this nostalgia behind these games. For example, GameCube games, like I was looking at Super Smash Bros. Melee, Super Paper Mario, 1000 Year Door. I played that for so many hours when I was a kid. And then you have things for the Wii. I think it's like Super Paper Mario, and for the GameCube, I think there's like Mario Party. Oh, by the way, to get the emulators, I totally forgot about this. So we'll go back to coolrom.com. This will be an important point that you'll want to get. So we'll go to ROM files, and we'll go to, you have to pick your system once again, so we'll go to GameCube, and you can see these top downloads. So obviously you have like Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is amazing. Pokemon, I didn't even know there was a GameCube Pokemon. Then you have like Wind Waker, Double Dash, which was so amazing. Super Mario Sunshine, oh man, that game was so good. Luigi's Mansion, I always wanted, but I never really got, so I might have to try that out. Oh, and then you have like Twilight Princess. I played that and kind of didn't like it because it made me think, which I didn't like. And probably Animal Farm, I think that's the thing it's called, has got to be up here somewhere. You have the 1000 Year Door. So Mario Party 7, I had that. We played that for a lot of parties in my house. So like for example, if we go to Super Smash Bros. Melee, you just click download now and you'll get the actual download link in a second here. And I personally have ad block on, so we're not going to see the ad. So sorry, CoRom, I'm not supporting your site. So then you'll have, yeah, it's basically like a gigabyte. So for me, it's going to take like 13 minutes, looks like. So once you get that, you basically, depending on the emulator, you can actually, let me just cancel this quick. You don't need to unzip it. So for like Wind Waker here, if I go to Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, if I click extract here, it's going to extract. And what's in the actual file is, we'll just cancel this and I'll show this in a different thing. So let's see, in the actual zip file in my ROM that I have for GameCube, so like this you can't extract. Literally, if you try to extract it, it'll say no archives found. That means that you don't want to extract the file. You just leave it as it is, and you'll click on it in the emulator, and you'll be able to run it. But something like a Visual Boy Advance, for me, let's see if we go to GBA, and then Pokemon Emerald GBA, it'll just list it as a file because the computer doesn't like recognize it. So you just leave that. You'll literally download Pokemon Emerald.gba, and you just run that, and then you'll have to create a save file. So you just save it through Visual Boy Advance, and then you're good to go. So that is pretty much ROMs in a nutshell, guys, or emulators, whatever you want to call them. ROMs are the actual game, but definitely try these out, guys. It is so much nostalgia, and it's just great to go back to some of these old classics. And I for one graphics matter a lot to me in a game, but these are totally the exception. I am totally into like GameCube games. That's just awesome. So definitely try these out. Coolrom.com is where you can find all of that, and hopefully you guys can have an awesome time with these emulators. So thank you all for watching. Please leave a rating on the video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you like in my content. And as always, see you later.